What is up, everyone? I hope everyone is having a great and fantastic week. We've got a jam-packed show for you guys tonight. So looking forward to doing that. And as you can see over here, I got my buddy NC Relic Hunter, Mr. Michael Coley is in the house. And Michael's going to be assisting me tonight as we go through the show. Michael, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good. Hope everybody is doing well tonight. It's been hot here.
Yeah, it's definitely been hot, and I have started back work, so I'm not going to be on as far as making a lot of videos for the next few weeks until I settle back in to my school job, my teaching job. So might not see me quite as much, but I'm going to be here. We're still going to try to do our live streams on Friday nights and keep everybody in the loop, let you know what's going on. So it's going to be, just bear with me. If you don't see me sometimes, making a video, then there will be some coming, and it should be a great time. So I appreciate everyone tuning in here Friday night. And Michael, I know, has just gotten over COVID, so he's been back at work, and we're glad he's feeling better. And I wanted to have Michael on tonight because he and I have sort of been working on this sort of together, and we're pretty excited about some of these relic programs and some of the things that we're seeing from our XP Deus II. So again, most of the conversation tonight is going to be about the XP Deus II, and it is going to be about relic programs and relic hunting. So that's what the focus of the show is going to be tonight. So hopefully that's something that everyone is interested in. And we're going to share what we know, what we've seen, and so on. So that's going to be the focus of what we're doing tonight. So with that being said, I know we're getting some people starting to trickle in. Let's give a couple of shout outs. Naturally, Wisco Detect, he's my moderator, and so happy to have him in here tonight. Michael's wife, Sunny's in here tonight. Thank you, Sunny, for being here. Dirt Devil Detecting, as always. Chris, also great supporter of the channel. Thank you, Chris, for being here tonight. Sniff It Out. Glad to have you in here tonight as well. We've got 662 Outdoors, also an awesome hunter. He's been sending some finds and some things that Michael, I know, has been getting. And he sent me a couple of pictures of your finds. So can't wait to see more. So we're glad to have you in here as well. Jesse Britt, glad to have you in here tonight. Trying not to miss anybody. James Letner, glad to have you. Prospectors Cash, as always. Prospectors Cash does a great job on his channel. So go check him out too. Awesome, awesome, awesome guy. Surfside Dan, my main guy, he is in here tonight. Glad to have you in here, Surfside Dan. Ricky Bennett, also one of my good friends. Glad to have you in here, Ricky. Bells, as always. Bells is a great supporter of the channel. Thank you, Bells, for being here tonight. Carson Chris, as always, another great supporter of the channel. Love having you guys in here. Bobby Short, another great supporter. Thank you, Bobby, for being here. Don't Tread on Me Metal Detecting. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you so much. Dwayne Cron, glad to have you in here, Dwayne, another big supporter. And we are so happy to have Jesse Britt in here tonight too. So thank you guys. Michael, tell us a little bit about what you've been up to.
I had a guy, David Moss. He's been on our on the live a few times, but he shared a program he was running. He was running sensitive full tones, but he had and he had it on high square,
right?
And he had his equalizer. He showed me his equalizer setting, so I tried it. I tried it in sensitive full tones and fast, and it sounded really good, and I'm actually going to run and try it. So
yeah, and we're going to dive into that in just a few minutes. So I think that is going to be really, really, really cool. So we're going to be talking about that in a few minutes. So right. David Moss, I think he's on here tonight. He's 662, correct, Michael? We might lose Michael a couple of times. You still there, Michael?
Yeah, I'm still here.
But yeah, he's 662, correct, Michael?
No, Sean is 662.
Sean is 662. Okay. Well, anyway, shared some of his settings with Michael as well. So, but we're going to dive into what we've been using and what we've seen out of these programs for some of our relic hunting experiences. And I'm going to share with you what I've
I'm
been.
sorry, Shane.
Shane, there you go.
But Shane has actually he's told me he's actually been running a lot sensitive full tones, and
Right.
he's recently had a lot of luck running, you know, the fast program and pitch running threshold at 1.
Okay,
You know,
we're
like
gonna talk about all of that in just a few minutes. So last week we were trying to show the finds, and remember my thing went down. So I want to give guys credit that sent in their finds, and they wanted me to show some of their finds. So we are going to go to that. Hang on one second. We're going to go to that particular slide, and we're going to show those finds from last week. And Michael, I know you've had COVID. I know you're just getting over COVID, and I know it's been hot there in North Carolina. And what's some of the things that you're looking forward to as far as this relic season, as far as what you would like to find, something that's maybe on your bucket list?
well, I mean, I always like to find Confederate buttons and
Okay.
Confederate buttons, and you know, like I said in another live stream, I'd love to find a slave tag. I know we'd have to head down around Charleston to do that, but that would be a dream to find that. You know, always a gold coin. You know,
Right, right,
everybody would
right.
like to find a gold coin, but um,
So, and Michael and I have been talking. He's got some great sites lined up. He and I have been doing some examination of some maps and early 1800s maps, and we're looking to find some locations up around him as well. And I think he's lined up a great site for us. So I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, Carson Chris says, "Oh, okay, Carson Chris, I will get you the correct email." So guys, if you want to share your finds with me, I'm going to put my email up here for you to share those finds. And I will get those up on the next live stream. If I didn't get yours and you sent it to me, then just tell me, hey, I sent you some last week or whenever, and I'll be glad to get those up to show you guys, because again, this channel is about you guys as well as all the things that we're going to be talking about. So I want it to be more centered around what you guys are doing and what you guys want to share. But anyway, my email is in the chat. If you go there and look, it's walkamallartifactrecovery@gmail.com. So if you find something really cool, or maybe if it's not really that cool, but if you find something and you want me to share it, or if you have something you want us to try to identify, then we'll be glad to do that as well. Again, I might not know what it is. Michael may not know what it is. Calabash might not know what it is. Sharpshooter might not know what it is. But I guarantee there's probably somebody in this group that can possibly identify some of those things. So again, send those things to me. I love to share you guys. So with that being said, I do have a slideshow that I put up, and we're going to add that to our stream. So last week I was trying to show y'all Todd's finds. Todd shared with me his seated Liberty coins. He found an 1840 and an 1839, which you guys can see there. Super, super nice find. There's Todd's other buttons that he found. He found a dragoon button, 2 dragoon buttons, and an infantry eagle with it in the crest, which is just a beautiful, beautiful find. And then Shane Bramlett sent me this, and this was something too that he wanted me to try to help identify. He thinks these are crop pickers tokens. And I don't know if any of you guys have seen this type of find before, but maybe some of you can identify that and make sure that he's correct on that. But he sent these to me, so definitely wanted to share those with you as well. Dwayne, which he's on here tonight. Last week I showed y'all on my phone, but this week I got the slideshow up there, and this was a great find by Dwayne. December 25th, 1893, inside this nice gold ring. Just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful find. And congratulations to Dwayne. Phil Tinsley shared with me this rifleman's button. I have that exact same button. Beautiful button. Really love it. And it is an amazing, amazing find. So love to see that from Phil Tinsley. He also found this button with the stars in the middle of it. Also excellent find. I love the design of this button. I love that it's sort of concave with the stars sitting in the middle of it. And yeah, just a beautiful, beautiful find. Phil also shared with me this button, but I couldn't see anything on it. But again, nice looking flat button is what it looks like. And Phil wanted to share that with everyone. So again, those were some of the finds that were submitted to me. If I didn't show yours, then submit it to me, and we'll try to get those finds up on the next show as well. Michael, what do you think about those finds?
Excellent finds.
Yeah.
That rifleman's button, I've never found one of those. That's a nice one.
That rifleman's button is probably one of my favorite finds of my career, really. I just, it's just something you just don't see every day. And I love finding stuff, especially from like the War of 1812 is just a unique war in itself. And to have an artifact from that war is just fantastic for me. So again, congratulations to all of you guys that submitted those things. If I did not get yours, then please submit it again. Make sure you send it to walkamallartifactrecovery@gmail.com, and we will get those finds up for you. So we got some more people joining in. Tallulah Barkett, glad to have you in here. Relic Jedi's in the house. Glad to have you, Relic Jedi. DC Diggins also in the house. And again, we're adding some people to our live tonight, Michael. So we got a good group. So again, Michael and I, there's Michael. Again, we are so happy to have everyone. So tonight we are going to be looking at relic programs on the XP Deus II. So Michael was sort of going ahead and he jumped the gun on me a little bit, but he was sharing a little bit of information before we got going. So Michael and I have been experimenting. David Moss, who sent Michael a couple of things, has been experimenting with some of this stuff. And we're just super, super excited to share some of this information because a lot of you guys, again, it's about us. A lot of you guys are sharing that information with us or sharing it with me. And I want to relay that information because I want to show what works for people. And then you guys can decide, hey, I like this. Hey, I'd like to try this. Then it's totally up to you. And as we go through some of this tonight, some of you may have some other ideas or some other things that you would like to do to share your settings as well. So again, just awesome. So thank you, Prospectors Cash. We love 662's channel too. Very, very good. Thank you, Bells. And Marcus is in the house. Glad to have you, Mark, as well. So we got just a fantastic group of people in here tonight. BK's in the house. Glad to have you, BK. I'm trying to mention everybody. You guys are amazing, and you're what makes this channel grow. And I appreciate each and every one of you. So again, if you'd like to share your finds, walkamallartifactrecovery@gmail.com. And I'll be glad to get those up. And I'll share my email address at the end. So with that being said, we're going to look at my relic program, what I've been using and what you guys have seen me finding things with. Michael can attest to this program. Michael, I do pretty well with this program, don't I?
You've done very well when I've done it with you. Yeah.
And Michael, and most of these sites that you guys have seen me hunting on, I want you to understand this. Most of these sites have been hit by many, many, many metal detectors.
Yeah.
And I'm going back into some of these sites and finding things with this program that I'm using. And I know there's some other channels out there that are sharing Relic programs, and that's great. You can decide what you would like to use. This works well for me. Michael has seen it. Michael's used the same program as well. This is what works for me in my area. That's not to say if you live up north or you live out west, your soil could be a little bit different. There may be some things that you might want to modify with these programs to get you up and running and finding the relics that you would like to find. But this is what I have been using. Again, you can modify it, do whatever you like to with it, and we can go from there. So I'm going to show you the screen. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm using and what is working. And then after I get done showing this, then some of you guys may want to chime in and say, hey, here's what I'm using and here's what works for me as well. Because again, all of this is a learning process. We all learn from each other. That's what my channel is about, is learning from everyone and trying to figure out what are some of the best solutions for some of the sites that we hunt. Right, Michael?
That's right. Yeah. I mean, we can all learn from each other, and that's what makes this community online here special. It's, take what other people post, and you can try it, and if you like it, if it works good for you, that's something good.
Right, exactly. And again, South Carolina soil and North Carolina soil might be different from soil up in New England or out west or in Texas or Oklahoma or somewhere like that. It may be a little bit different, but this is what works for us in our area. And of course, you can modify and change it up however you like. Okay. So with that being said, I'm going to switch up cameras. We're going to add this to the screen. And there is my XP Deus II remote, which hopefully everybody can see. I'm going to slide it over a little bit. And hopefully you guys can get a good view. Can everybody see that screen? I need to lower it down a little bit. Get it where it's a little bit closer. I don't want it to fall off here. But there's my screen. So we're going to turn on our XP Deus II. Right, try it all. I agree with you. Don't tread on me. He says, try it all. You'll stumble onto something, and that's eventually true. You will stumble onto something, and we're going to show this screen. Michael, I might just, so everybody can see this screen really well, I might just block us out and show the screen. So again, this is the first program that I'm using, and of course, I got it titled SRA Relic 1. And so here's the settings that I'm using on this Relic program. So if you go to menu, I'm using the discrimination at 6.8. Now, XP has actually come out and they have said 6.8 is the ideal discrimination for a lot of these programs. And you can monitor and adjust. Now, if you're dealing with iron and you really want to get the best unmasking capability, you might want to lower this discrimination a little bit. You could lower it all the way down to 6.4 or 6.2. What I would suggest is not raising it up any higher though than this, because what I've seen is I think it takes away from some of the unmasking, and my soil is very mild. So again, 6.8 is where I'm staying at, and 6.8 is what I use. Now you can modify and adjust based on your ground and based on your soil. You guys can check that out. So if I go to my expert mode, which I'm going to click here, I'm using pitch tones. Some people are using full tones, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute. Some people might use 5 tones, 2 tones. whatever you feel comfortable with, but I use pitch. I think pitch gives me a good feel for what that target is. It's got sort of a unique sound to it, but I use pitch, and it tends to work very, very well for me. And if we go through these other settings, I'm not using any bottle cap reject. Now, I've seen a couple of programs. My program is based off of fast. This is off of fast. Okay, I'm sorry, I should have said that. Thank you, Prospectors Cash. It's based off of fast, this first one, and I'm going to show you one with sensitive full tones in just a minute. But that is based off of fast. I have seen some programs that they're adding a little bit of bottle cap reject, and that's fine. But what I am going to tell you is the more you start inserting that bottle cap reject, basically people are trying to get rid of iron. And when you start adjusting that thing and start moving it up, sometimes it can mess with the unmasking capability of this machine. So just be aware of that. You can use it if it's really just driving you nutso and you want to try to implement a little bit of it, then you can do that. But I would say, if you can leave it on 0 and it's not tearing you up too bad, then leave it on 0 and keep going. I leave the notch standard at 23, 24. You could notch off, and we've talked about this too. You could notch off all the way, where you notch up to 40. Some people do that, and it works really, really well. That's totally up to you when it comes to that. Silencer, I'm running at 1 because I want the most unmasking capabilities that I can get. I think with the silencer at 1, that gives me the best chance. Now, could you dig more iron? More than likely, yes, you are going to dig a little more iron. I can deal with the iron as long as I'm finding stuff. So I don't mind digging the iron. Michael, what do you think? Anything that you can add to those settings?
I mean, you probably, well, let me think. So you're running your frequency on the pitch. What are you adjusting your frequency to?
Well, I'm gonna get to that in just a minute.
Okay.
I'm just going through these expert settings right now.
I got you. Silencer, I mean, sometimes in fast you could probably run even silencer or 2 sometimes, and you would be fine. But
Right.
1 is usually where I run it too. Yeah.
So Prospectors Cash says Y pitch. You have offset and full tones, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. Prospectors Cash, but I also use. Oh, we keep glitching out here, Michael. That's pretty weird.
Yeah. Just for a second.
Yeah. So maybe it is me. But he says you have offset and full tones, which helps you on chirping on iron nails, in my honest opinion. And Prospectors Cash, I'm going to be honest with you. I can't get rid of some of the nails that I'm hunting in. And I think Michael can attest to that too. Those rosehead nails or those big early colonial nails, they're gonna sign off. It don't matter. It doesn't matter what I do to try to get rid of them. It will still sound off and still give me some faults. But I like running my machine as open as I can. Don't tread on me. Metal detecting says I don't use silencer or filter. I want to hear it like the machine picks up. And I agree with you 100%. I mean, if you want to try to run the silencer all the way down, that's fine. I like leaving the machine as open as I can. And I use pitch, and I know Prospectors Cash was just asking me why pitch. Pitch is just what I've been used to for so long, Prospectors Cash, and that's what I've used. Even when I was using the Deus I. Now, some people may revert to PWM on the audio side, but I'm using pitch and high square, and I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. But thank you so much for the super sticker. I really appreciate that so much. Don't tread on me. It says if you're not digging square nails, your machine is not working. Switch it on. There you go. And I like running the machine as open as I can. So again, I'm with Don't Tread on Me Metal Detecting. I like running it as open as I can. And Dirt Devil Detecting says he runs his ground stabilizer at 1. not a bad idea. I would not run it up too high. Again, the more you can open up this machine, the better chances you're going to have of unmasking. So again, my tones are pitch, which you guys can see. Bottle caps are at 0 and so on. So we've gone through those expert settings. My discrim is at 6.8. Of course, I got the sensitivity turned down, but because I'm inside. But when you're using your sensitivity, again, monitor and adjust to your soil and what you think naturally. My frequency max is at 40 kilohertz. I have run it at 24. You're going to dig a lot. You're going to dig a lot of small targets though with the frequency max set at 40. But if you want to run it to 24, then go for it. I don't think you'll hurt yourself running it at 24 as well. What do you think about the frequency max, Michael?
I've been running mine at 24 most of the time. 40, you're probably going to dig some smaller stuff with it. You know, and like you were talking about earlier, if you're on a site that that has some modern trash in it, it's not, you know, it's not going to hurt to run that notch up 35 or 40. I don't think it's going to, you know, because most of your relics are going to come up higher than that. That's just going to, you know, quiet the machine down some, and you won't be running over as much modern small pieces of foil and trash and stuff. But
yeah. And Dirt Devil Detecting says he runs it at 24. I go back and forth on this, but 24, I like 24 as well.
I do too.
You guys are definitely right. Prospector's Cash says it's 109 degrees today in Texas. Wow, that's way too hot for me. Michael, what do you think you do in 109 degrees?
I don't know. Stay inside in the air conditioning.
That's the way I would be too, really. So iron volume set at 7. Again, you can adjust this if the iron's driving you crazy. There's been sometimes too that I've run the iron volume all the way down to 0. But again, you can do it however you like. DC Diggins like me, I want to dig those small targets. I don't mind running it at 40. A gold coin, Michael. You just told me you'd like to dig a gold coin, right?
Right.
So if you're on a site where there could possibly be a gold coin, then definitely you would like to run it at 40. Okay.
40, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you could, but again, that's totally up to you. 24 and 40, I think, are excellent choices. Don't Tread on Me says, yep, 40 for me. Dwayne Cron says, I'm running a very similar setting on this fairly hot Virginia dirt. Don't forget to go back over the heavy iron spots with a notch of 40. Exactly. That, and I mentioned that in the beginning. You know, you can notch that thing up to 40 and above and go back into those sites, and it will clean up some of those targets. So again, you've got all kind of choices. And we got Sniper Snipes in here tonight. Glad to have you in here, Sniper. Hope you're doing really, really well. So again, iron volume at 7. You can choose to do with this as whatever you like, but the iron volume definitely, you could run it all the way down if you don't want to hear the iron. I like hearing the iron. Again, especially when I'm trying to locate a site, I'll run that iron volume up so I know that I'm on a structure on a very, very good site. So again, reactivity, I always start off at 2.5. If you get into a real thick, heavy pitch, heavy patch of iron, then you might want to run the reactivity up a little bit higher. That's just me. You guys can choose whatever your site is dictating. That would be where I would go as well. Michael, what do you think about your reactivity?
Most of the time, that's where I start out at 2.5. You know, if it gets more iron, I'll go to 3. I rarely go above 3. You know, and then if I want a little more depth, I go to 1.5 or 2. You know,
right.
But
go ahead.
You know, Dwayne was talking about the hot ground. I have, you know, there's some hotter ground close to me, and I've ran my reactivity up a little higher, and it handles that hotter ground a little bit better. I have noticed that.
Right. So Wisco Detect brought up a good point. When you notch to 40, it also can help with the high MI, which is exactly true. So again, 40 is not a bad choice, but 24, I like 24 as well. So again, Lance is in here. Glad to have you in here, Lance, my buddy. Glad to have you in here. 662 Outdoors says, yeah, I'll hit a spot with the notch high and cherry pick it the first trip out. Also, excellent ideas. You know, it just depends on what you're looking for and what that site is like. So, always glad to share this information. DC Diggins says, on a cleaner side, I normally run reactivity at 0.5. Right. Well, you know, if you don't have a lot of iron and you're not dealing with it, heck, run that thing down to 0.5 or 1 and just take your time. And you never know. You're going to hit a real good deep target for sure. Lance said that he just got back from detecting. So hey, glad to have you in here, Lance. And Prospectors Cash says, I'm hunting an old Texas rodeo site tomorrow at 8 a.m. So I'm going to try your settings. Yeah, try it. You know, Prospectors Cash, I can't guarantee that it works on your ground. But what I can say is it's worked for me. You can go and look at the videos and see that it's been pretty successful. Michael's seen me using these exact same settings, and he knows that it works pretty good on some of these beat up sites as well. So again, very, very nice. So glad to share this with you guys tonight. I hope this is helping somebody. If you are interested in these settings, then please give me a thumbs up, give me a like, and I would greatly appreciate it. If you're new here tonight, we're going to mention that. Hit that subscribe button. We would greatly appreciate that. So let's go to our audio response. Again, if you really are looking for those deep targets, you can turn that audio response up. Totally up to you. I'm running it at 4. Sometimes I'll run it at 5, a little bit higher. There you go, Michael. You glitched out on me again.
Yeah.
That's all right. But anyway, I run the audio response at 4. And, you know, you can run it at 5. I have run it at 5, and it works really well. The threshold, some of you guys may be able to hear this, but you can see I'm running the threshold at 1 right now. So I like hearing that sort of little hum. Sharpshooter has brought this out for you guys that know who Sharpshooter is. Sharpshooter's brought this out, and he has said too that running that threshold with that low hum can really help with hitting some of those targets. So again, threshold at 1. You could run it at 2. I don't like it really loud. I just like to hear sort of a little hum, especially on the beach. So if I'm doing beach hunting, I would definitely bump the threshold up a little. So Lance says he's been doing some live comparisons between the Deus II and the Legend. All right, Lance. And Lance says, which I've been saying this all along, the Legend is actually pretty dang good. And it is. You guys looking for a middle of the road, if you're looking for a backup machine, the Legend is a good machine at that price point. So definitely check that out as well. Joshua Sipes says, shout out from the Vets, Dig Beeps Lanyards. I hope you still have it. Love yours, Cheech. I do. And I have mine on there right now, Josh, and I have enjoyed having it. Michael also has one, and I know he's been using it on his MI6, and excellent job, Josh. And Josh makes some lanyards that you can hook up to your MI6. You can reach out to Josh, and he'll be glad to send you his email and maybe send you a lanyard if you're interested in one. I know he's selling them, and very, very excellent quality and good design. Michael, what do you think about your lanyard that Josh sent to us?
It works great. It seems like it's really well made, and it's going to hold up over time.
Yeah,
I like it.
Dirt Devil Detective says, I like my Legend, but I like my Deus II a little better. Again, the Legend is a good machine. And again, most of you guys know we're not going to poo-poo on any machine. We believe that all machines have good value. All machines have a purpose, and all machines will find things. You just got to learn how to use them. So again, Legend, great machine, good price point, great value at that price point. So again, very, very good machine. Thank you, Lance, for bringing that up. BK Says, I run the threshold at 2, really helps on the beach for identifying those pesky bottle caps. Yeah, Lance, I'm with you on that. So running a little bit of threshold, guys, is not the end of the world. If you don't like that hum, then just get rid of it. But running a little bit of threshold will help you a little bit. And again, we're back to discrimination. So that was my first setup. And again, all of that was based off of fast. What do you think, Michael?
Yeah, I mean, that's been a good program. That's what we've used the last time. And I mean, I've run the threshold too, and that little low hum, it didn't bother me a bit, but
Right.
It seems to help out some, based on sharpshooters testing he's done.
Right.
So.
And Sharpshooter has shown this, and we just had BK, who's a beach hunter. He lives down here near me. BK goes out on the beach a good bit. He likes running that threshold. So again, the threshold could be very, very good, very, very useful for you guys. If you haven't tried it, then just try it and see what you think. Okay. And see how you like running a little bit of threshold. Carson Chris says, I ran into a couple of Equinox users at the park on Tuesday. They found a couple of pennies, and I'm finding deep wheats and silver. There you go, Carson Chris. I love it, buddy. Love it. 662 Outdoors says, I enjoyed it, guys, but got to run. My dog. We totally understand. Family first. Hope your daughter has a great softball game. Thank you for being here tonight, 662 Outdoors. Love your channel. Great job. And we'll be catching you real soon. So thank you for being here. So let's go. We got Michael's keeps popping in and out, but that might be me too, Michael. It might not
yeah.
be. It could be
just
me.
For a split second, yeah.
Yeah, for a split second. So Greeny Meanie's on here. Glad to have you on here, Carson Chris. Maybe they're not telling the whole truth. Like I never tell people what I find. Greeny Meanie says he's not sharing. He's not sharing any information. So Michael, I want to take them to the other program. So let's talk about the other program that I have. And the other program is based off of sensitive full tones. And we're using sensitive full tones on this program. Hey, Greeny Meanie, glad to have you as well in here. Thanks for being in here tonight. Prospector's Cash says, these are my settings. Okay. Don't Tread on Me says, I was running sensitive full tones exclusively since the update. Still am, but using deep high conductor a lot too now. Good. And I haven't played around that much with deep high conductor, but I look forward to doing that as well. Junior Osborne says, I got used to the threshold using old TR discrimination machine from years back. Doesn't bother him at all. And I agree. I used an Excalibur on the beach, so using that threshold is not a big deal at all. Carson Chris says, we compared handfuls. They had lots of bottle caps too, compared to the Equinox. Thank you, Carson Chris, for sharing that. And Chris says, yes, Wisco, it's hot here in Texas, especially long. Yes, it's hot, dude. It is really hot. All right, so let's dive into this next program. Now, this program is, I've titled it SRA Relic 2, but this is based off of sensitive full tones. This program is sort of what I call the sweeper program for relics. And I like the sweeper program because it just unmasks really, really well. Michael, what do you think about sensitive full tones from what you've seen?
I think there's some advantage to running it. Especially the spots that you hunt, you are going to dig some more iron with it. I noticed I don't dig as much iron with it around where I hunt, but it's just that iron down around your area. It's rough.
Yeah, it's rough. Michael has seen this iron that I deal with in this area, and he lives in North Carolina, and he deals with iron too. But guys, y'all don't understand. When you're on a plantation site, you got to remember there is iron for yards. I'm not talking about just a little square. I'm talking about 400, 500, 1,000 yards of nothing but iron. And so it is really, really, really difficult to pick targets out of some of these old plantation sites. So Michael can attest to that. But this program is based off of sensitive full tones. And let me remind you that sensitive full tones is running the new filters. Now, the last program, which was based off of fast, was running 0.71 filters. This one is running the 1.0 filters, which makes it a little bit different. What I do like about this program is its unmasking capabilities. And we're going to talk about a couple of things which Michael alluded to earlier when we first got on. But we're going to look at the sensitive full tones program. So if we go to our discrimination, our expert settings, again, I'm running pitch. Now we're going to talk about full tones in just a minute, but I'm running pitch, and this is what I've been doing recently. And there is something that I'm going to be trying in the near future, and I look forward to showing you guys that running full tones and using a different setup. But I've been running pitch so far. Bottle caps, 0. Again, I'm running that machine wide open. Again, back to notch, 23, 24. But again, if you implement notch, I think you're going to end up with being able to discern some other targets as well. So implementing it up to 40. I've even implemented it all the way up if I'm doing some coin hunting. I've implemented it all the way up to 78 or 79 if I'm looking for coins. But again, you can implement some notch as well. So definitely a way to improve your finds. Silencer, I'm still running it at 1. You can go up to 2. Guys, I am going to tell you that if you go up to that silencer above 2, you may run the risk of missing something. So be careful with the silencer, 1 or 2. Michael, what do you think about the silencer?
I think in sensitive full tones, you really need to run silencer at 1 to get the maximum separation. And find those mass targets. You need to run it at 1.
Run it at 1, and that's where I've been running mine at, and I think you guys can see that we've had good results running it at 1. Again, sensitive full tones, you're going to dig more iron. I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you. You're going to have a little more falsing, but the unmasking capabilities are well worth it. So if you're looking at going back into a site and re-hunting it after hunting it another way, this is the program that I would highly recommend for that as well. So again, that was pitch, 0 bottle caps, notch. If you want to implement it, you can implement it as high as you want. You can go up to 40. I think 40 seems to be the sweet spot, but you can run it all the way up to 80. Totally up to you. And then again, the silencer at 1. So that's the discrim and the expert settings. Sensitivity, naturally, whatever you need to adjust. I've got it turned down in here because we're inside. Max frequency, again, I'm running 40. You can run it down to 24. 40 and 24 are my 2 favorites. But 40, 24, whichever one you choose, you're going to have good results with it as well. Iron volume, again, set at 7. If the iron's just driving you just crazy, then you can turn that iron volume down. Michael, what do you run your iron volume at?
I usually run mine at 5.
At 5, yeah. You can turn it down. If that iron's just driving you just crazy, you can definitely turn it down as much. Carson Chris says, hey, I have too much small 10 to run pitch in most of my sites. Pitch hits that 10 and it's everywhere here mixed with iron. And I get it, Carson Chris. And again, like I said at the beginning of this, when we started going through these programs, you decide what's going to work for you on your site. These are just the ones that have been good for me. And if you need to adjust that and you don't want to run pitch because of that, I totally get it. So do what you need to do. Yes, Michael, go ahead.
What does I was just wanting to ask Carson Chris, what does the small 10 usually come up on his machine? Because is that something he could run his notch up a little bit higher to get rid of that?
Well, and that could take care of it too, just like Michael said, Carson Chris. So if it's coming up really, really high, then maybe you do have to adjust, but that's totally up to you. Don't tread on me. It says same iron at 5. Lance McElwain says that he runs his at 2 on the iron volume. And again, this is all personal preference. If you want to run it lower, higher, however you want to run it, then that's totally up to you. You can monitor and adjust. If you don't want to hear all that iron, when you're looking for a site, though, I would suggest running it a little bit higher until you find that site. So very good. Chris is on here. Chris says, Chris counter Deus II. I can only wish you the best session. Well done, boys. I will be about for 20 minutes for urgent tech questions. There you go, Chris. Glad to have you in here. Chris has a great site on Facebook. For you guys that don't know, he's the XP Deus II group admin. So glad to have him in here tonight as well. So again, iron volume at 7, reactivity at 2.5. Again, this is site dependent. If you're just general hunting, 2.5 is the ideal setting. If you're in thick and heavy iron, maybe 3, 4. If you want to adjust, that's the great way to go if you got a lot of iron. So again, reactivity, however you would like. Audio response at 4. If you're looking for those really deep targets, you could turn it up. You know, you can turn it all the way up to 6 or 7. It's totally up to you. I usually run at 4, but you can monitor and adjust. 4 is plenty enough for me because most of my targets in my area are not that deep. So again, thank y'all so much. Chris just said our affiliates. Thank you. Our affiliates, all our affiliates, big love. Thank you, Chris. Yes, this is all in multi-frequency. Swift detected. Thank you. And Swift detected says, can you do a video putting this in WS6? Sure can. And I'll try to do that. Thank you for suggesting that, Chris. Swift detected. Appreciate that so much. Don't tread on me. A lot of cool iron relics in the ground. Right. If you were looking for iron, then you can go a different route. Threshold, again, you can add that little hum in there, which I think is going to help you. Totally up to you whether you want to hear that hum or not. You can run it at 1, very, very low hum. I think it does help slightly with unmasking capabilities, especially when you are in heavy iron. And we're back to our 6.8. Carson Chris, thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate that. Again, all donations, anything that you guys give tonight goes straight back into the channel for us to provide all this information and to have the nicest cameras and all the things that you guys want to see on hunts and on these live streams. So again, Carson Chris, thank you so much for the donation tonight. So let's go back to Michael and I. So Michael, what do you think?
Well, Ricky Bennett said we need an aluminum volume. Well,
aluminum
volume. Yeah. Well,
that would be good.
On this last update, we do have the adjustable volume being, so that you could, if you knew where it kind of come in, you could adjust it in that range to a lower volume. That could help out.
So you guys got to see the settings that Michael and I have used, and you guys have seen my videos. You know what I'm about. I love relic hunting. Relic hunting is my passion. It's my thing. It's the thing that I love the most. Even though I know you guys have seen some of my beach hunting adventures, which I don't really like beach hunting as much as I love relic hunting. I would rather be relic hunting all day long. And but those are the settings that I'm using. So I'm basically tied into 2 programs, the fast program and heavy iron, because most of the sites I hunt are heavy iron sites. And I'm also using sensitive full tones. And both of those programs that I just went through are based off of fast and sensitive full tones. Now, Michael and I have been experimenting. Michael, tell them what we were just talking about before we went on air about sensitive full tones and using the full tone setting for both of these programs. Tell them a little bit about the settings that you think are going to be really, really good for us.
Well, I've been experimenting. I talked to David Moss, I mentioned earlier, and he actually showed me some of the settings that he was using, which he was using sensitive full tones, and he had his he was using high square, his
Right.
tones, and he had his equalizer adjusted, and it actually gives almost like a Mind Lab type sound. You know,
Okay. So, Michael, I want to show the equalizer settings that that David shared with both of us, and of course, when you're using your WSA XL2s, this equalizer setting is going to sound really, really good. I'm going to share that picture. So here's what David Moss shared with us. These were the equalizer settings, and this is what Michael is referring to. If you were using high square and full tones and sensitive full tones program, this was the setting that he found really sounded really good on his XP Deus 2. So you guys, y'all can take a picture of that. This is on a WS6, but you could also set it up on your, you can also set it up on your regular remote just this way. But there it is. And David Moss shared that with us. And I know some of you probably already have this type of setting on your machine,
right.
but David said he really liked this. And some of you that watched my beach video from the other day, I was using this same setup, but I was using it in Dive. So I was using the Dive program, and I was using high square, and I was using high square full tones, and it worked really, really well, and it sounded really, really good. It definitely did. So I'll let you guys, if you need to take a picture of that or so on, then you can. So there you go. Thank you, Bobby Short. I appreciate that so much. Thank you for the super sticker. But there you go. So Chris C says, I have a question we don't get in Europe. Do you need to run anything you perceive a different and tropical environment? Chris, I would love to answer that, but we live, I guess we're sort of, I don't know if we're subtropical, but yeah, I love running threshold. I'm assuming you're talking about the beach too, Chris, but I love running a little bit of threshold, but I love running the dive and the high square full tones. Really gives a unique sound. And for those of you that love the Mind Lab sound, you're really going to love this, aren't they, Michael?
Yeah. Yeah, it really gives if you're used to an Equinox or, it really gives that kind of tone, to it. A
Right.
lot of people like that.
Right. And Bobby, thank you so much. We enjoy bringing you this content and bringing you this information. We're not always perfect, but we try to show what we know and what we feel are things that are working for us. But thank you so much for being here. Don't Tread on Me says, I'm running sensitive full tones and deep high conductor, both the same way. High square tone, sensitivity 98. Wow, 98 is a high sensitivity, but that's great if you can get away with it. Reactivity and notch I apply according to the ground conditions. Definitely excellent settings. But if you can get away with that 98 sensitivity, that's great. Michael, do you ever run your setting higher than 90, 95 or 93?
About 95 is as high as I can get away with.
Yeah, if you can get away with a 98 sensitivity, that is awesome. Lance said, my equalizer has no effect on my main remote, only works on my WS6.
Maybe he needs to reload his software or.
Yeah, you might have to try another update, Lance, and update that machine a little better because it should be making some sort of difference in that sound. If you have the WSA 2 XL headphones too, I think those work really, really well. So you might want to try messing with those. And if you have those will be great because I think those will help out tremendously. But yeah, let us know, Lance. Keep me posted on that. Ricky Bennett said those equalizer settings are the cat's meow. Been using them for a while now. Thank you, Ricky. And these again, I've used something similar to this. XP has sent me some settings that they wanted me to try when I first got my WS6. I might share those in the next live stream, in fact, if I get a chance. So again, it definitely, that equalizer does help, and you can make that thing sound really, really sweet. Can't you, Michael?
Yeah, it sounds really good.
Right. So Michael can attest to that. Dirt Devil Detective says, I think tropical wet areas may be better using general as a base. Could be, again, I don't live in those types of areas. I'm showing you the settings that work for me, and that's all I can tell you about. Michael, you ever went anywhere tropical?
Well, it does have ground subtraction, as far as the moisture goes, so that it could help. I don't know.
Right, and the general with the ground subtraction and the stabilizer on it, that might help a little more as well. So again, Michael, tell us a little bit about what we think about the high square with the full tones. What do you think? What do you think we're going to see with that?
It's just a crisp sound, but I'm hoping, when you get to run it in some of your iron sights, that we can see how it behaves in the iron. But as far as the sound, I love the sound. It's a real crisp, high sound. Like I said, it's almost Mind Lab. It's almost like a Mind Lab sounding.
Right.
A lot of people like that.
If y'all want to see what you think it could sound like, go check out my last beach video, because that's what I was using. I was using full tones, I was using high square, and I was using the dive program. And all of those things together worked extremely well. Michael, did that thing not sound so beautiful on those sites, on that beach?
It really did. I mean, it
really
sounded awesome.
It just lit it up, and it has got such a beautiful sound. And you guys that love hearing that Mind Lab silver sound, you're going to love using full tones and high square audio. And if you haven't tried that, go to your machine right now and put it in, and on your next hunt, just see what you think. But I'm telling you, you hear that, and it is pure, it is sweet, and it's a great sound. It definitely is. Dwayne, thank you so much for the donation tonight. He said he's going to bed now and start digging before it gets too hot. I mean, I agree with you 100%. I feel your pain. Get out there before it gets hot. Dwayne, thank you for being such a great supporter of the channel. Thank you so much. Yes, beautiful tones. Don't tread on me, metal detecting will agree. Chris C says it will be deeper because of how processing works. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that so much. Don't tread on me says when you get over deep copper, best sound in the world. And when you get over deep silver, best sound in the world too. I got over a silver ring the other day on the beach, and that thing sounded so sweet. Did it not sound sweet, Michael?
It really did. It sounded like it reminded me of the old days when I used to have my E-track, that high, high sound.
So Wisco says, I don't like it because it sounds too much like the Nox. He said, I love Deus II full tones. And it does, but I'm telling you, XP's on to something with all of this, with this full tones and high square. It is a very sweet sound. If you haven't tried it, give it a shot. I think you guys will love it. So,
David Moss is on here.
Yeah, I know. I see that. David says, when you run the equalizer like that, you will get a flute sound on good relics. It will stop you in your tracks. David, thank you so much. And we shared your equalizer settings. I hope you didn't mind. We gave you credit for it. And again, I had some settings similar. I think Michael had some settings similar, but you shared them with Michael. So I just showed a picture of the WS6 with those equalizer settings, and told people to try it and let me know how it goes. But thank you so much, David, for sharing those settings with us as well. So again, Mental Metal's in here. Glad to have you in here. Mental Metal put up a Relic program the other day. It's sort of similar to ours, but a little bit different with some modifications to it. But I think we're all on the same track as far as that goes. And Scott, we just went through 2 Relic programs that I use. And you can go back and watch the replay and see some of the similarities and some of the things that might be a little bit different from what you showed. But Scott has a great channel. If you don't know who Scott is, Mental Metal, then check out his channel as well. He does a great job, does a lot of great tutorials, and he's got a great mascot, Rocky. So you definitely need to check that out. Right, Michael?
That's right. Yeah, he does a good job.
He does. He does a real good job. So we're always glad to have Scott. And Scott has been on this show twice with us, and love having Scott in the house. So Lance McElwain says, what up, Mental Metal? Been watching a lot of your legend videos lately since I got one. Right. And Lance and I have been talking about the legend, and the legend with this 1.11 and the update and the carbon fiber shaft and the LG30. It's just got a lot of nice features, guys. And for $599, $499 for the older version without the wireless headphones, great value on that as well. So again, he says they've been working on high square so much, it's the savior for death. I will make sure that this channel and my group coordinate. Good night all. Thank you, Chris, for being in here, and thank you for sharing our information. We try to explore all avenues and look at all sorts of things. And thank you again for being on here tonight. We appreciate you. Yes, save them for the next show. Yeah, we got a lot. We get a lot. And this show is very, very technical, which, most of the people that come on here are XP Deus II users. And I love doing this show. I'm so thankful to have Michael on here tonight, too. Michael, of course, is my confidant and somebody I rely on, as well as Calabash and Sharpshooter and some others that are on here as well. So love those guys, and those guys really help me with organizing and sort of coming up with some of the ideas and some of the things that we're going to be talking about. So Michael, what's anything else you want to leave before we get out of here?
Well, I was going to say, I've seen a lot of people online posting where they were modifying the carbon legend shaft and putting it on the middle and lower shaft, putting on a Deus shaft. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I have seen that. I think you and I talked about that the other day.
And I mean, they don't really show how they're doing it, but I've seen several pictures online where they've done that. So
right, yeah, I've seen some people that have been doing that as well. We're looking to have more information too about the Extreme Hunter, maybe in the coming weeks. XP, I have not heard back from them recently about the Extreme Hunter, but I'm hoping that I will hear some more from them in the coming weeks as well, as we get closer and closer to them actually releasing it to the US. I think I've seen a couple of people, and Michael has keyed me in on this, a couple of people over in Europe that have already gotten theirs. But hopefully I'll have one real soon, and I can show you guys as well. David Moss says he's going to start playing with the stock Relic program, and I have not played with those other programs. We just basically talked about the 2 that I use mainly for relic hunting and what Michael's using for relic hunting. And again, we are trying to share as much information. That's what this channel is about, is sharing information on the Deus II and trying to get as much information out there to you guys, for you guys to try and let us know what's working, what's not working, and so on. So that's where we are at. So I'm trying to look and see here. He said, Chris C says you can use a Nocta modified stem, which I've got the carbon fiber shaft. I have not tried to use it on my XP. Maybe I should, Michael.
Yeah. Well, I do know I spoke to Detect Ed, and they said in a month or so they're going to have carbon fiber metal shafts. They're going to have a longer one for taller people and the standard length one.
Right.
Um, so, look for those in a month or two. So,
So
they have the lowers now. So,
Chris C said there are so few units, and he says he doesn't even have one yet. And again, I'm hoping to have one. I have been in contact with XP, and I'm hoping that it will hopefully show up real soon. Let's just hope so, Michael.
right.
I want to get out and test it. I've got some great sites to test it on. I have some early colonial sites. I've got some Civil War sites that I would love to run this thing across. So hopefully XP will get that to me real soon, and I will have one in my hands and so on. Johnny Rum says, hey, will we ever see a Deus II elliptical coil? I think we will. They've done it in the past. I don't think of any reason why they wouldn't do it again. The 5x9 on the Deus one I thought was an excellent coil. Michael, you used the 5x9 too, correct?
Right. Yeah, that was a great coil. And I don't see any reason why they wouldn't. I'm sure they had the same molds, still where they could make the same size coil. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw one in the fall or, within the next year anyway. I think they're going to release that coil because it was a popular coil that size.
Right. Yeah, I think they will. I'll be hopeful, and maybe we see one by fall. I still think it could possibly be maybe next year or so before we see it, but maybe by fall, maybe possibly. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Mental Metal says he's coming down to Hilton Head this week. I'll be there on Sunday. Mental Metal, and I apologize. I've been meaning to get back with you. I have started back to work, unfortunately, and I teach and I coach, so it's going to be hard for me to get away, buddy. But I hope you have a grand trip. If you're coming back up this way and it's on the weekend, the following weekend, I might be able to go out and beach hunt with you. So get in touch with me, and we'll try to set up something. If you're coming back this way and you want to stop, and because you're going to go right by where I'm at. So, but we'll talk. Just shoot me an email, okay? Thank you, Mental Metal. Lance McElwain says, has anyone tried the new stork leg lower storm stem on the Legend? I have not, Lance. Maybe Scott Mental Metal can attest to that. He might know more about it than I do, but I have not. So again, yeah. Lance says it's as skinny as a pencil. Okay. Mental Metal says all good, man. All right. Michael, anything you want to share with everybody? I mean, I know I've done a lot of talking tonight. I've probably done way more. You're probably going like, dang, I didn't get a word in.
Well, I know. Hang on. A month or two, it's going to start cooling down. It'll be time to hunt some relics.
Right.
I know a lot of people that they don't live close to the beach and they can't get out on the beach, but hopefully it'll start cooling down in a month or so. We can get out and do some relic hunting.
And September, by the time September starts rolling around, hopefully we'll start to see some maybe a little bit cooler temperatures, and a lot of us can get out and relic hunt. And I know I'm chomping at the bit to get out and relic hunt. I know Michael's chomping at the bit to get out and relic hunt. And I wanted to do this show to sort of prepare us for the beginning of fall. So this is sort of an introduction to fall and what's going on. Michael has just gotten a GoPro. I just sent him a GoPro recently, and I can't wait to see some of the video he's going to shoot. Michael's going to be helping me out with the channel as I'm sort of going to be doing my other job. But Mike can go out and do some things that maybe I can't get to, and send me some of the video and do some of those things as well as we move into the fall season. And we all get out in the woods and we finally get to do what we love to do, and that's relic hunting. So go check out my channel. Go check out my videos. If you haven't checked out my most recent one, most of it is beach hunting. I did dig some pretty cool rings over the last couple of hunts. You can go check those out, and they're up on the channel as well. Check out my affiliate. My affiliate is Detecting Clay. He's got good stuff on his website. The XP Deus II, the MI6 pinpointers, the CKG shaft, all of those things, the Beach Scoop CKG, all of those things are featured on his website. So please support him. He's a great guy, super nice guy, lives up in Maryland, does a fantastic job, and Detecting Clay is my affiliate. I also have an Amazon store as well. I'm an affiliate with Amazon. You can check out that link. It is in the description on this live stream. Again, I have to say this, but I do gain a slight commission off of things that are sold off of Amazon if you choose to buy something through the Amazon channel. So again, thank y'all so much for being here. Bells, thank you so much. You're an awesome supporter. Look forward to seeing you real soon. Maybe another dig stock will be coming up real soon, and XP will send me out to do that as well. No snakes, no skeeters, and no chiggers. I get it. Thank you so much, Relic Jedi. Always, you guys are awesome. I have one of the most fantastic groups out here. You guys do an amazing job of being here each and every Friday night and supporting us. And Michael's going to be a big part of the channel moving forward. Michael is a very, very knowledgeable relic hunter, and I'm so glad to have him on here tonight as well. And he's a great friend and a great person. Just a super, super, super nice guy. If you know Michael, then you'll know pretty much what I'm saying. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it so much. Yes, Bell says, thanks, Michael Coley. Hope you're feeling better. And Michael just recovered from COVID. And he and I had to endure it together. So I sort of kept him upright while COVID was going on. Didn't I, Michael?
Yeah. Kept me going.
Carson Chris says he's using He's using Steve's rods on his Deus II. Thank you so much, DC Digging. Appreciate it. Jesse Britt, thank you. We gave out a ton of information tonight. If you're just tuning in or you missed some of that information, go back and watch the replay. I promise you it's a lot of information that a lot of you can use for your machine. If you have an XP Deus II, I think you're going to love it. And Mental Metal says you have a great group of folks. Yes, thank you, Mental Metal. And again, you have an awesome channel as well, and love having you on as a guest. And hopefully we'll do that soon. Maybe when you come back from your beach hunting, you can come back and share some information with us. Carson Chris says a 5x9 with high frequency. Well, I don't know how much high. I guess they could go to 80 kilohertz. What do you think, Michael?
Yeah, I guess so. That'd be interesting.
An 80 kilohertz 5x9 multi-frequency coil.
Well, if you could adjust it, from 14, 24, 40, 60, 80,
right. You could do it, right?
It'd be versatile. Yeah,
definitely.
Be tough call to beat.
Thank you, Ricky. Ricky, awesome supporter of the channel. Glad to have you in here tonight. Junior Osborne, thank you. I appreciate you guys. Again, hit that like button. That helps with my algorithm on YouTube. Follow Michael on North Carolina Relic Hunter. I know he doesn't have any videos up there yet, but he's going to be doing some things for me too. Just support him too as well. He's an awesome, awesome, awesome guy. And I'm just so happy to have him as a great friend and a great hunting partner as well. So always super, super glad to have Michael on. Lance says, good show. All right, guys. Anything parting words, Michael? We're going to get out of here.
No, it was a good show tonight. I appreciate everybody coming in. And hope you enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And Bell says, check out Mental Metal's channel. He shares a lot of information. Mental Metal does. He shares a ton, especially if you're just getting a machine or you're looking at a machine and you want to know about that machine, I think Scott does a great job. Mental Metal does a great job of going through menus and showing you those things. He does an awesome job. And I'm so super excited to have him as a good friend. All right. Well, Michael, we're going to head out of here. Okay. You ready to go?
Sounds good. Yeah. Sounds good.
All right. We're going to be back next Friday, as always. Hopefully tonight was informative for everyone and somebody got something out of it. And we'll be back next week with another show. And I look forward to seeing you guys. I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend and a fantastic work week the following week. And get out there and hunt. Use some of these things that we showed tonight and we talked about. If it's not too hot and you can get out and relic hunt, then go do it. I think these settings will definitely help you modify as you need. Again, these settings worked for Michael and I in South Carolina and North Carolina, but you may have to modify for your particular site in your particular area. So check that out. And we appreciate everyone that donated tonight. Thank you so much for the donations. All the donations, again, go right back into the channel. Hit that like and subscribe and join me and Michael whenever he joins me on our next adventure. I hope you guys are doing great. Have a wonderful, fantastic weekend. We'll see you soon. Michael, you want to tell them bye?
Good night, guys. Have a good evening.
Good night. Good night, everyone.